Okay, excellent to see such a big audience today, and it's my pleasure to introduce Aureka. We're bringing Victoria's gold to life. So we're about 12 months or a little bit older on the ASX, and we're a deep value company drilling today, and we've already got lots of JORC ounces, so we've got a very good head start. These are the key things that I'd like you to take away from my presentation today. So we're not doing anything greenfield in our portfolio. I managed to pick up about 18 months ago a portfolio of advanced stage gold projects, a series of discoveries that had been neglected because they were hiding in a company that was producing up in Queensland. Now that company went into financial difficulty, and I was able to swoop in and buy the Victorian tenements. And the Victorian tenements themselves actually traded back in 2020 at a market cap of up to 150 million. They reached that level twice when they were drilling out the main project, the Stawell Irvine Project. And then that company went up to Queensland and it didn't go too well. So we were able to sweep in and for less than $1 million, pick up the whole portfolio and begin working from there again. And we got it back onto the ASX in late 2024 after we raised $6 million and did the IPO. And really what you want to think about is that for that small amount of money, we picked up a terrific amount of value, including the 300,000 ounces that we have at Stawell. It's 16 kilometres away from an operating gold mine. That gold mine itself is world-class, given that it has produced 5 million ounces in the history of it. It's operating today, and we think it produces between 45 and 55,000 ounces a year. It's privately held, so not a lot of information about it, but we're only 16 k's away, and we've already got 300,000 ounces. That's our company-making project. That's the project that can really drive us to 500 and $1 billion in market cap, because we can grow those ounces, we think, from the current 300 up to $1 million plus. However, we do have something small and manageable in the near term in our portfolio as well, and that's the Comstock project at St Arnaud. St Arnaud is a very nice area, 70 k's away from the main project. It's a smaller project, but it's brownfield. So that was last in production in 1995. We've got a small JORC resource around it last year, 56,000 ounces, and it's more of a brownfield near-term production potential for us. Here's a quick snapshot of our corporate structure. I come out of a banking background and I was a long-time mining analyst, so I had a good eye for value and the appropriate structure. So we don't have any debt. We've got about 5 million cash in the bank, 158 million shares on issue, and we're terrific value given that we've got a market cap of around 20. We've got a few of my older clients as shareholders and backers of our early stage company, which is great. So as our story gets better and better, we're getting more and more investor support. Terrific board of directors led by Graham Hunt, who was the CEO of Lihir Gold when it was sold to Newcrest for $10 billion after a bit of a bidding war. As I said, I come out of a banking background as well as being on the board of Red Hawk Iron Ore, which was sold to Fortescue for a couple of $100 million around 12 months ago. And importantly, we're operating in Victoria in Australia, and it's a province where you can really create a lot of value. And Angela works at Southern Cross, which is a really good example of a company that not 4 years ago was trading at around 30 mil market cap. And through exploration alone, and they haven't even put out an Inferred JORC Resource or anything like that yet, but they've gone from a 30 mil market cap up to over $2 billion Aussie in market cap through excellence in exploration. And there's certainly a model that we're aiming to follow in the large part of our business. Our exploration manager, Joseph Story, he's on the tools today. He joined us about 12 months ago from Barrick Mining Corporation, where in West Africa he was running quite a large team, but he had experience in Victoria before that, Fosterville and Castlemaine Goldfields. So I've taken you through the numbers before, but we've got a very good gold grade at 2.43, and we increased our JORC resource with that 56,000 ounces that we added last year on the brownfield near-term production potential that we have at Comstock. So this is the main project at Stawell, And if I click again, I might stop talking, and there's a 1-minute video that takes you through the highlights. If we've got any audio, doesn't look like we do at the moment, but we're 2 hours drive. There we go.
Irvine is within the Stawell Corridor, which hosts the 5 million ounce Magdala deposit. Gold deposits in the Stawell Corridor typically form on faults at the margin of basalt domes. At the Irvine Basalt Dome there are 2 lodes called Resolution and Adventure with a combined inferred mineral resource of 304,000 ounces gold and an exploration target of 280 to 420,000 ounces of gold. The exploration focus at Irvine is to extend the down plunge position of the Resolution lode, where drilling has identified multiple mineralized structures. The exploration team continues to develop their understanding of the gold mineralization at Irvine, allowing for improved targeting of the high-grade gold positions. The eastern side of the Irvine Dome hosts multiple exploration targets across the 2 kilometers of strike between the lodes. Diamond drilling at Resolution has also identified multiple flanking basalts on the eastern side of the basalt dome which create additional target positions. Recent drilling and reprocessed geophysics has opened up a further 8.6 kilometers of prospective strike. Regional geophysical modeling has identified 3 prospective basalt domes which are hidden beneath basalt cover rocks. Each of the basalt domes provides future exploration targets
and I was going to say similar to the Magdala Gold Mine at Stawell. So that project, which is better on this slide, that's the 5 million ounce, 100-year-old mine, still going today, producing around 50,000 ounces a year. So between us and them is that Stawell granite, 16 kilometres. And then our tenements stretch for that 70-kilometre direction in the southeast. And our main project, the largest project, the Irvine Project, is right there on the edge of that Stawell granite. So we think that that granite is perhaps related to the concentration of the gold on either side of the granite there. And as you can see from the depth of the Magdala Stawell Gold Mine, we're only really scratching the surface on the work that we've done at the Irvine Project thus far. So if you are a large company, you would really think camp scale. You have success at Irvine, you can move on to Lange Logan. We've already had a couple of drill holes in there in previous years, coming back with 30 grams per tonne on a couple of those holes. And there's further targets as you go in that southeasterly direction. So this is our main south of Stawell Corridor tenements with a lot of potential. This is the drilling that we've done in history, but also what we did last year. And that red circle is circling hole number 48, which was our highlight hole that we put out in October, 10 metres at 12 grams. At a depth of only 413 metres below surface. What you get elsewhere in Victoria is really high-grade hits, but from really deep under the surface, and you're looking at underground mining scenarios from the outset. What we've got here is a potential open cut development. Our JORC resource has been defined firstly around a small open cut that then transitions into an underground potential development in the future. And we're certainly extending that underground potential with our drilling on the margins of the JORC resource last year. So we had our drill rig just on the edges. And that was all well and good, and the market really appreciated our discovery, where we got these faults, the resolution fault, the tenacity fault, all converging there to give us some really high-grade results. 6 metres at 6 from 490 metres below surface. So that was the real highlight last year, and certainly drove our share price up to about 19 by early December. What the previous team didn't have the opportunity to do was really drill in the middle of these 2 lodes. So we've moved recently the drill rig to those couple of air core positions you can see in the middle between these 2 lodes, so that we're hoping that if we really have a good drilling result there, that'll really highlight to the market that these guys can really leapfrog their way first to 500,000 ounces and then off to 1 million ounces, and really drive that $500,000 to $1 billion type of valuation that we want out of this company. And we're not drilling into virgin territory. As I said, we are drilling under old historic gold mines there, under the Eagle Hawk mine right at this minute. please come over to the booth and I'll run you through the near-term production potential we have up at St Arnaud on the smaller project. But what you want to appreciate there is that while the other project is greenfield and large, this one is brownfield and small, and we hope to get this into production in the coming 12 months. We're working with a mill only 45 kilometres away, and I would really look out for news flow in the coming months around this strategy on our second project, which really has the potential to give us profits and free cash flow in the near term that we can then reinvest to grow the company and really grow it to those valuations that I spoke about previously. So please do pop over to the booth. I'll run you through the story, and if you've got any questions, just let me know.